Hello, and thanks for joining us today on another edition of the program Blackboard. I'm Sobora Usman, your host. Digital literacy is the ability to use information and communication technologies to find, evaluate, create, and communicate information requiring both cognitive and technical skills. The modern generation is marked with a quality called speed, and no one has patience anymore. You know, the proverb, slow and steady wins the race, has lost its significance. Today on Blackboard, we shall be discussing digital literacy education for teachers, its essence, and of course, the significance. And doing this with me is the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN's Executive Secretary. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
The teachers who show that the responsibility of impacting on students have to match up to the expectation of these fast-paced young netizens. Information, if not properly conveyed, may not have the desired result. So young learners are exposed to digital world at an early age, but they should also be taught how to handle it properly and manage to extract the essence of the knowledge available digitally. And teachers play an important role in this. So, sir, to begin with this, let's understand digital literacy, first off.
Well, thank you very much for that beautiful intro. I think you have summarized it. The idea is actually how to use digital knowledge to, advance the course of teaching and learning in terms of manipulation of digital gadgets to be able to, get the learners involved in learning processes and make sure that our learners actually learn what they're supposed to learn. Because, look, I was very happy with the way you presented it in. The children that we teach today, they are digital natives. Okay? They are digital natives. Whereas, as teachers, we are digital immigrants. And that's why it's important for us as teachers to be able to get the requisite knowledge so that we'll be able to take... These children can manipulate anything. Okay? To match up with these learners. Let them take ordinary telephone. They will be able to use it to do so many things. And so these are digital natives. And as teachers, we are digital immigrants. A large number of us could be classified as what we call BBC, born before computer. Yes, a large number of the teachers were born before computers. Okay? And so it's very important and imperative for the teachers to be able to match up with the level of the learners. You need a certain level, the modicum level of knowledge, or of digital knowledge, to be able to match up with the learners that we are teaching. These children, they are very versatile when it comes to digital knowledge. They know what and what to do, how to manipulate the gadgets. And so for the teachers, for you to be able to cope, you definitely, no one will tell you that you need that knowledge to be able to survive in the classroom of today.
So what are the principles of digital literacy?
Well, the major principles are understanding what digital knowledge is, what are those things that you need to know, and also understanding the technologies, the appropriate technologies, because we talk of appropriate technologies that you need to use within the classroom. It's not everything that that is appealing, that is out there, that you can actually use. There are certain principles that guide. You talk of accessibility, you talk of availability, you talk of cheapness of the materials that you want to use. Are they cheap? Are they accessible? Are they available to both the learners and the teachers? These are some of the principles that should be able to guide your selection. Okay? Because the teacher is confronted, and even the learners themselves, they are confronted with a lot of materials, digital materials. But you want to see the relevance of such materials. How are they relevant to the learning environment? How are they relevant to the content that you are teaching? And so the selection must be guided by certain principles. And that's what we normally, part of the thing that we make sure we instruct the teachers in selecting the appropriate technology that you are going to use. Okay? You are going to look at the relevance, availability, the cost. The cost. Because we know that, things are not very easy.
To come by now.
Yes, and definitely you just have to look at the cost implication, both of the learner and the teachers. The parents are bearing so many things, and that's why it's imperative for a teacher to look at the cost implication of any material that you want to use. So these are some of the principles that guide the selection of the technology that you want to use in the classroom. And then how relevant is it to what you are teaching? It's not just everything. It's not just everything out there that is relevant. And that's why even the learners have to be guided very well. Because if they are not properly guided, there is a danger, there is a tendency that, they will be misusing this technology that we are talking about. Okay, there are so many things out there in the open market, okay, that the learners can engage in, and some of them are not good for their education. And that's why as teachers we have to be able to check what these learners are actually using, okay, so that they will be properly guided and they will not misuse it. Because look, as we have the advantages of the technology, so also we have the disadvantages. And that's why it's very critical as teachers to be able to know what are the advantages of some of them and be able to guide the learners against some of the dangers. Because they could, if not properly guided, the learners could make mistakes and they go into error.
Sir, about 30,000 teachers will be trained digitally in 16 states. What are the modalities for selecting the states chosen?
Well, we have even started, before we are getting to the 30,000 now, we started, this project is actually under the Global Partnership on Education.
Has it started already?
Yes, we started last year, late last year.
Okay.
It's under the Global Partnership on Education, and it's actually funding that is coming, a global support that is coming to the Federal Ministry of Education with the idea of training teachers, to be able to cope with the effects of COVID-19. The COVID-19 has actually exposed our education system to the vagaries, of the system, because, teaching, where the schools were closed down, there was this lockdown, schools were closed down, and in fact, so many countries, I recollect that Uganda is just coming back after 20-something months of closed down. Just yesterday, they are just reopening, or day before yesterday, their schools are just reopening, okay, after 20-something. So many countries are facing a lot of lockdown and things like that. And because of the challenges that COVID brought, there is a need for us to see how we can retrain our teachers to be able to cope with the challenges. Because teaching is not going to be the same again, where the teacher will stand in front of the classroom and begin to dish out info. Things are going to change. And they are already changing.
It's changing.
And they are already changing. And they are changing very fast. Believe you me, they are changing. And that's why the teachers need this digital literacy. So we started late last year. We have trained 480 teachers who we regard as master trainers in the selected 16 states. The states were selected by the Federal Ministry of Education. The states to benefit. TRCN was just made an anchor. There are so many agencies working with TRCN to be able to achieve it. You have the National Teachers Institute, you have UBEG, you have other agencies that are working in collaboration, NERDC, working in collaboration with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria to drive the teacher training component of the GPE program. Because it's an holistic thing. You have the health component, you have so many other components. But the teacher training component is actually the one that is being coordinated by the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. And we have already done the training for the master trainers in those 16 states. We trained about 480 teachers in the selected 16 states. And now we are going to the second phase, which is the major phase. We are now going to train 30,000 teachers. Okay. We are now going to train 30,000 teachers in all these 16 states that have been selected. And believe you me, okay, it's also good for you to know that the project is also being overseen or being guided and being monitored by the UNICEF. Okay? UNICEF is the one that is monitoring, supervising the project. Okay? So the project is under the Federal Ministry of Education, and TRCN is the one coordinating the teacher training component. And so we are going to the second phase. We are going to start by February, God willing. And we are very optimistic that if we can train that cohort of teachers, the 30,000, they will go out there to impart on their fellow teachers, and it will have multiplier effect on what the learners, the achievement of our learners.
Okay, this second phase that is going to commence by February, how long is it expected to last?
Well, we have it in phases. We are taking about 2 states together at phase 1. I think about 4 months, within the space of 4 months. By May ending, we should be concluding Okay, we are taking 2 states in a month. Okay, and with that, 2 states or 4 states in a zone. Okay, and then we have zoned them, all the 16 states, into, we have 4 zones for them, and they have been categorized into 4 zones, and we are going to take a month for each of the zones, and so essentially we are looking up to about 4 months to be able to run the project. So by the end of May, we should be winding down on this particular component.
So what are the modalities for selecting the states in each zone?
Well, the selection was actually done by the Federal Ministry of Education, and yes, the TRCN, the Federal Ministry of Education and UNICEF, and the TRCN was actually to implement what has actually been selected. And I want to believe very strongly that certain yardsticks were used in selecting these states, including the teachers' needs assessment that have been carried out earlier on. There have been some assessment that are previous assessment that have been carried out earlier on teachers' needs and in this situation. And I think the Federal Ministry of Education was actually guided by that, and there's the ceremony on these 16 states. Looking forward that maybe the next component or the next batch, they will go to the next set of states.
Thank you very much, sir. If you're just joining us, you are exactly where you should be. The program is Blackboard. Please stay with us as we go on a quick break.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television Star Times Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome and thank you for staying with us. Earlier, before the break, we are discussing digital literacy for teachers, and my guest has been the Executive Secretary, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, Professor Olusegun Ajiboye. So, sir, let's quickly, away from that, do schools arrange registration for students after they graduate?
Registration with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria? Yes. Part of the process that we have with the tertiary institutions, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the colleges of education and the faculties of education, is that, because by now it is very clear that no one can be registered with Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria if you have not passed the professional qualifying examination. So in that wise, the institutions actually organize the professional qualifying examination towards the induction of their graduates. And that is going to be the last examination that their graduates will write when they finish from their institution, before they leave the institution. So schools organize that. They will seek permission from the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, and TRCN will go there to conduct the exam. So we move all over the country. All the colleges of education and even the universities that have faculties of education, TRCN go there to conduct the professional qualifying examination towards induction of their graduates. Because we can no longer do induction for graduates of any institution. It's only those who actually pass the exam that can now be inducted into the teaching profession. And that is the process that we have adopted now.
Okay, there are instances where probably somebody is a chemistry graduate, for instance, and a certain school lacks chemistry teacher. And because this person graduated, is very intelligent, versatile when it comes to the subject chemistry, the person is probably hired as a chemistry teacher. In that case, what can such a person do to register?
Well, there are certain qualifications that we actually enable you, to be what you call registrable, that will make you registrable. If you have your degree in education, or you have master's, PhD in education, or you have the minimum teaching qualification in Nigeria, which is the NCE. In some other countries, they call it diploma. Okay? That's the minimum teaching qualification. But if you have your BSc in chemistry, or you have your BA in English, and you want to teach, you have opportunities to go and do postgraduate diploma in education, PGDE.
Okay.
Or there's another one that is called the professional diploma in education, PDE. Okay, if you do any of these two, then it makes you to become registrable with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. But if you don't have that, you are not yet a teacher. You are not. You may be benefiting from the profession of teaching, but you are not a teacher. You are a cheater. There's a difference between a teacher and a cheater. You don't know. There is. If you are not a teacher, then you are a cheater, according to Obai. So there's what you call cheating and teaching. Those who are not actually qualified to be in the classroom, they are cheaters. And TRCM frown against this. We frown at it because it is wrong. You cannot go and practice as a doctor when you are not a medical, you are not trained as such. The same way you cannot practice as a lawyer if you are not one. How then do you want to profit from the profession of teaching if you are not a teacher? And that's why TRCN, with the support of the National Council on Education, said that for anyone who wants to profit from the profession of teaching must be somebody that is qualified. You must be qualified in the first instance, and then you must be registered and licensed to practice by TRCN. That is the way to go. So for those people who do not have education background, they need to go back. They need to go back to school to go and do a postgraduate diploma in education or a professional diploma in education, so that they will become qualified and they become registrable. Otherwise, they remain as quack.
What are the consequences for not registering with the TRCN to probably the individual first? And of course, any school that hires such a person to teach,
well,
there should be sanctions.
You know what? The law establishing TRCN is very powerful. It has prescribed jail term or fine for any such person that is picked by TRCN. If you are not qualified and you are teaching in the classroom, you are not supposed to be there. It's only around this climb that you see people who are not qualified standing in front of the learners. It is not possible in some other climes, especially developed world. It is not possible. You must be qualified to be able to teach. In fact, in some countries, it's people with master's degree, that in education.
The least qualification.
It has the minimum qualification that they use in some countries. Okay, so it's only in this kind of environment that you just see what they call all commerce, an all commerce thing. No, it is not acceptable. What we are saying is that if you want to stand in front of the classroom to teach our children, you have to be well qualified to be able to do so. You must have the requisite qualification in terms of maybe your degree or the certificate that you hold, and also you must be registered by the professional body, which is the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. So for those who are practicing illegally, it's a warning. We have actually given a deadline, December 2019. We started the monitoring for compliance February 2020, but because of COVID, with the outbreak of COVID, we were not able to proceed. Okay? We started the monitoring for compliance February 2020. But with the outbreak of COVID, we were hampered. But I want to assure Nigerians that we are not going to relent. We will continue. Because the monitoring exercise is a continuous thing. And if you are caught in the web, believe you me, the law is there. Let people go and read the law establishing TRCN. The law prescribes that, look, for a fine or for a jail term.
That's for the individual.
For the individual.
What about the organization that
That's what we are even talking now. Because if you look at the public schools, in Nigeria, over 83%, or about 83% of the teachers in public schools in Nigeria are actually well qualified and they are registered with TRCN. About 83%, yes, of the teachers in public school. But the same thing cannot be said of private schools. And that is where the problem actually lies. Those are the people that actually want to maximize profit by employing people that are not qualified. And we have been sounding the note of warning that gone are those days when you can just pick anybody from anywhere to go because you want to make gains. And we have been telling them that education cannot be commoditized. You can't. When you say you have invested in education, it's not an investment that just yield profit immediately, unlike other investments, because you cannot commoditize it. And that's why we said they should use. Yes, we appreciate the private providers, but what we tell them is that please, you must use the appropriate teachers. You must use those teachers that are qualified. There are so many teachers out there that are qualified, that can be employed. So why do you have to continue to engage those who are not qualified when you have those who are qualified, wasting out there? And this is what we have been telling the private school owners. Are there proper sanctions
to those private school owners?
No.
Effective sanctions.
You see, the problem we have is that education is on concurrent list because these private schools are registered by the states, the federal state government. But we have been telling the states now that as part of their registration and annual renewal, they should be able to submit the list of their teachers so that we'll be able to, go through the list and then see whether those teachers are actually qualified or not. And another thing that TRCN has done is that we have what we call teacher information system. Even as a parent, you are free. You can go to TRCN website. Go to the TRCN website. Under the teacher information system, TIS, you can check whether the teacher teaching your child
is qualified
is registered with TRCN or not. And that's how you will know whether that teacher is actually qualified or not qualified. So we have provided that platform for Nigerians to be able to check the status of the teachers teaching your children. You have to know if you are paying for their education in private, especially in private schools. You have to know and follow up with the kind of teachers. Okay? And that is why parents have to take interest in some of these things. They have to take interest in some of these things. Follow up on the kind of teachers that are teaching your children. Are they qualified? Are they registered with the teachers registration? And if they are not registered, you tell the school authority, all these teachers in your school, they are not even qualified. They are not on the TRCN website. You can check. You are free to check. And it's free of charge. And that's why we encourage Nigerian parents to be able to do this.
Thank you, sir. So finally, sir, what's your last word?
Well, let me say that the digital literacy training program is a continuous thing. And we believe very strongly that Nigerian teachers, they can easily adapt to the changes in the environment. Very recently, one of the Nigerian teachers actually won the Global TOEFL prize.
Yes.
Just very recently, I think about a week or two ago, one English teacher in Ogun State won the TOEFL prize. And that's to show you. And we have seen so many Nigerian teachers winning global prizes.
Award.
Global prizes. And so it gives us the joy that, look, things are actually changing. And if you look at the results of the students at the last WAEC examination, if you look at the result, May-June exam, last year May-June exam, you will see a dramatic change in the results of the performance achievement of our students. And that is to show us that things are changing gradually. The result has been maybe one of the best, if not the best, in the last 10 years. Yes, in the last 10 years, the May-June WAEC result has been the best in the last, and that is to show you it's part of the pandemic. in spite of the pandemic. That is to show you the level of the resilience of the Nigerian teachers and their adaptability. Okay?
To positive changes.
Yes. So we have confidence that the Nigerian teacher will be able to deliver. And so the idea is to, technology may not replace teachers, but teachers who know how to use technology will replace those who do not know how to use it. And that is where I will encourage our teachers to change. Yeah, I know change is very difficult. I know change is the most, is a very difficult thing, but you have to change. You have to adapt to the new technologies. We are now in digital age. You cannot afford to be left behind. You can't afford to remain a born before computer. You just have to change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming.
No, it's my pleasure to be here, as always.
See, the teachers of today's generation must equip themselves with digital skills necessary to help their students become responsible digital citizens and, of course, match international standards technological-wise. And that's about the size of our package today on Blackboard. Many thanks for watching. Remember that teachers are today's heroes, and we must put them on the pedestal. I'm Sobra Usman. Enjoy the rest of your day.